to continue. Make sure that you have your math journal, vocab packet, as well as something to write with. Our target today is I can find x and y intercepts from an equation. So, first of all, let's talk about what is a x and y intercept. Well, it's actually, the definition is within the word. Intercept actually means that you're crossing, at one point. Think about when you play football, you intercept that ball. The person is grabbing that ball at one point in the air. And so y-intercept is where a line crosses the y-axis. So it's that point where it crosses the y-axis. And the way that we see the ordered pair for that is the x-coordinate is always 0, and then the y-coordinate is, some other number, because it's telling us that it's crossing the y-axis at that number. And so our ordered pair is always 0 and then some other number. That's the y-intercept. X-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. And so we see a number because it tells us where it's crossing the x-axis. And then we always have the y-coordinate is 0 because we're not moving up or down. We're staying on that x-axis. Okay, so when we look at a table, just from knowing that information, we should be able to pick out what the x and the y-intercept is. And so looking at this, can you tell me right away what would be the ordered pair of an x-intercept and what would be the ordered pair of the y-intercept? Exactly. Okay, so x-intercept, the ordered pair, you want to look for the ordered pair that has a y-coordinate as 0. Kind of the opposite. So if you're looking for x-intercept, you're looking for a 0 in the y-coordinate. Okay, so you're always looking for the opposite of what you're saying. So -3, 0 would be our x-intercept, and then our y-intercept would be 0, +3, because now we're looking for where is 0 in the x-coordinate. Okay, and so let's bring this down. So this is my x-intercept, just so you can see this, x-intercept, and then this is my y-intercept. Okay, so we're always looking for x-intercept, we're looking for the y-coordinate as 0, y-intercept, we're looking for the x-coordinate as 0. Okay, now on a graph, can you tell right where the x and the y-intercepts are? Yes. When you look at a graph, you should be able to tell me where is it crossing the x-axis and where is it crossing the y-axis. So first of all, let's look at the x-axis, and that would be called the x-intercept. So where does it cross? Yep, it crosses at 4, and then we did not move up or down, so it's 4, 0. And then for the y-intercept, where does it cross? At 0, yeah, because we didn't move right or left. And then +2, nice job. So just by looking at a graph, we can pick out those x and y-intercepts. Okay? What are these coordinates? Okay, x-intercept is -2, yeah, 0. And then how about y? 0, +2. Wonderful. Okay. Now, how about looking at an equation? Can you figure out what the x and the y-intercept is from given an equation? Well, make some observations. What do you notice? What is going on in order to find the y-intercept and then the x-intercept? Yes, well, there's some steps that we're doing. If you notice, the first step that we're doing is, well, we're plugging in 0, right? Plug in 0. Because notice, in this case though, when we're looking for the y-intercept, look where we're plugging. Keep that in mind. We're plugging in 0 for x. So when we plug in 0 for x, look what happens. Really, 6 times 0 is just 0. So I can even take, you know, if I just put 0 in this, if I put 0 here, where did this blue 2 come from? Exactly. 0 plus 2 is 2. That's where the 2 came from. And so when we plugged in 0 for x, that's why this 0 is in the x coordinate. When we plugged in 0 for x, we got an answer out as 2. And so our ordered pair for our y-intercept is 0, 2. Now look over here. What did we do over here? Exactly, we plugged in 0 again, but this time, which variable did we plug it in for? We plugged it in for y. Yeah, whenever we're looking for the x, just solve this equation. If we solve for x, we can subtract 2 on both sides, so we get -2, and then we could divide by 6. So -2 divided by 6, well, it's just a fraction, and I can just simplify that. So -2/6 is the same as -1/3. And so my x-intercept is -1/3 and then 0. Okay, so what steps did we do? Okay, same thing. If you look at this one, are we doing the same steps? Did we plug in a 0? Did we plug in a 0 the same way? Yes, I know this equation looks different than the one before. If you look at the one before, this one was y equals something. Over here, this is -3x plus 5y. So the y is not by itself. But are these the same steps? Well, for the x-coordinate, remember we plug in for the y. So notice we plug in for y. And then we have to figure out -3 times what equals 30. Because this is 0, so we can just cancel that out. So -3x plus, or -3 times what equals 30? Well, we can divide by -3, and we get -10. So the answer is -10. If we plug in 0 for the other side, so if I'm looking for y-intercept, now I'm plugging in 0 for x, and -3 times 0 is 0, so that disappears. So what I'm left with is 5y equals 30. So 5 times what is 30? Well, if I divide 30 by 5, I get 6. So my y-intercept is 0, 6. Okay, so let's look at our steps. For either equation, either type of equation, I should say, we plugged in 0. So we plug in 0 for the x-coordinate or the y-coordinate, depending on if we're looking for the y-intercept or the x-intercept. We will end up doing both of them because we need both intercepts. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one you start with, but you'll start with one and get one of the intercepts, and then you'll do it again. And so once you plug in for 0, then you have to solve for that missing coordinate. So if you plug in for the x-coordinate, that means you're missing the y-coordinate, and so you're solving for that. And then once you get done with that and you find an answer, then we write as an ordered pair. X and y intercept should be written as an ordered pair. Okay? So for tomorrow, what I'd like you to do are these 3 problems. I want you to tell me what are the x and the y intercepts. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me at Carlton's Math Corner, and I look forward to meeting with you again.